Earlier this month, the Culture Ministry and the King Sejong Institute hosted the 2024 World Korean Educators Conference. In this edition of Issues and Insiders, we delve into this conference and more. Hello, it's Friday, August 23rd here in South Korea. I'm Min Sunhee. Learning a new language is no easy task, and teaching it is equally as tough. But in the end, both learners and teachers agree the rewards reaped are well worth the effort. Today, I have the pleasure of speaking with two teachers of the Korean language over in Hungary and in the US. I have Kwon at King Sejong Institute in Budapest. Jisun, it's lovely to have you with us.
Thank you for having me here.
Good
morning from Budapest.
Right. I also have Kim Suzi at King Sejong Institute in Irvine. Suji, it's great to have you with us.
Thank you so much for having us tonight.
Right, Suji, let's start off then with some details about the World Korean Educators Conference.
Okay, the World Korean Educator Conference is an annual event since 2009. The Korean government, which is Ministry of Culture, Sports and Tourism, and King Sejong Institute Foundation collaborate to envision, to promote, to train, and to connect the teachers from the world. This year, the conference was historically remarkable in terms of the numbers of teachers from the world, which were about 300 teachers participating, and out of 300, about 173 teachers were invited from around the world. This conference was filled with informative workshops to equip teachers for better education, such as IT and Korean education, how to teach Korean pronunciation and articulation, and how to manage the advanced classes. There were also cultural workshops to enrich teachers, such as workshop for calligraphy and K-beauty, which was the most popular, and K-craft, which they actually made a small size of Hamburg. I took the calligraphy workshop, which was taught by a renowned artist. It was very inspiring and even healing. There were so many opportunities to reconnect with other teachers. It was very festive with a fantastic opening ceremony and closing performance. So I can say the conference was well prepared and very inspiring and informative. I really enjoyed every single moment and felt privileged to participate in this conference.
Right, a conference with over 170 teachers must have been amazing. Chisa, what was your experience at this year's conference like? I mean, what were some of your major takeaways from it?
Yeah. It is an honor to be invited to this conference and have the chance to meet so many teachers, as Suzy mentioned. Although there are 256 Sejong Institutes around the world, I haven't had many opportunities to connect with the teachers from other institutes. So, meeting educators from different countries and sharing about the state of Korean language education in their region, as well as learning about various cultural class practices was truly rewarding. And seeing the passion and dedication of the other teachers has given me a lot to reflect on and inspired me to grow even more.
Right, and before we delve into your individual strategies with regard to teaching Korean, Suji, walk us through your journey to becoming a Korean language teacher.
Yes, first of all, I like the word journey to describe how I became a Korean language teacher. Becoming a Korean language teacher is somewhat similar to the story of missing piece. I was born in Busan, but I grew up in Japan until college. So I grew up as a trilingual, and I studied linguistic anthropology at Seoul National University for master's degree. And language and culture is a theme that fascinated me for a long time. I used to teach English at high school in Tokyo until my family moved to US in 2014. And I was kind of wondering about my career. Then one of my friends asked me to help Saturday Korean school. It was such a rewarding experience that inspired me to take a teaching credential course. So I studied 2 more years at Korea Cyber University to get a degree and teaching license. I have 3 language credentials as a teaching license, but teaching Korean is my passion and the missing piece that manifests and satisfies my mission to serve others.
Right. Suji, this is an impromptu question. What would you say is one of the most rewarding aspects of teaching Korean, Suji?
First, for the personal level, I had kind of identity crisis because I grew up multi-ethnic background, and I was not proud to be Korean. But as I was teaching Korean, that kind of reflect on myself, how important to accept myself as I am. That's first. And I was teaching little kids as a heritage language to inherit Korean language history for the next generation in America. And I was witnessing how grandparents and parents were so thankful for teachers to educate these little kids who almost lose their root. So that part was pretty much inspired me. Yes, this is the job that I would like to continue. And then I extend my interest. Wow, Korean language is so popular. Why don't I teach more people? Not just for the Korean community, more people out there who want to learn Korean.
Right, indeed. And speaking about more people wanting to learn Korean, Jisun, what has been the impact of the growing interest in Korean culture in recent years, perhaps on your sense of responsibility as a Korean language teacher?
While many people still learn Korean as a hobby, as interest in the Korean grows, we are seeing an increase in advanced learners and those studying for academic purposes. With more exposure to Korean through media and daily life, learners are asking more diverse and in-depth questions, which makes me feel the responsibility of being a Korean teacher. So as interest in Korean continues to rise, I'm trying to deepen my own knowledge so that I can effectively address my students' inquiries.
Right. Suji, both you and Jisun have been praised for your productive teaching methods at this particular conference. That being said, could you tell us a bit more about your strategy in class?
I think that question for me, and yes, in this contest, there are 2 categories in teaching material contest. First category is about teaching strategy or teaching methodology. And second category is about strategy of management. This year, my entry was about management. And the theme for conference 2024 was 멋지다, which is like awesomeness or amazingness. So I summarized our management strategy to advertise and to communicate with people in order to let people know our awesomeness. In this case study, I show how we operated the open house as a tool for brand marketing strategy to invite people and to let the people know who we are and how awesome we are as an educational institution. So as we went through the pandemic, we had to switch all the classes to the remote class. However, after the pandemic, we are trying to switch all the Zoom classes to in-person classes. There, we are struggling. The struggle is that people is so much get used to using Zoom and they are reluctant to come to in-person class. Here, we need to have plan or strategy to let people know that learning in person is a lot more efficient and effective and essential. So in my material, I summarize how we operate open house as a brand marketing strategy.
Right, I see, an open house then. And Jisun, what about you? What strategy appears to be effective in helping students in Hungary to learn the Korean language?
Generally, Hungarian, like Korean, has a relatively free word order and uses postpositions extensively. The order in which we write names and dates is also the same in both languages. So by highlighting these similarities, students can grasp the concept more easily. And in my personal experience, providing opportunities for Hungarian students to interact with native Korean speakers has been particularly effective, since it's not easy for them to make Korean friends on their own. Offering such chances in class motivates them to practice Korean and improves their language skills. Also, they have a lot of interest on diverse Korean culture, food, language, K-pop, K-drama. So knowing about their interests and needs is also a good strategy to help them to improve their language skills.
Right, indeed. And perhaps expanding on what Jisun just said, Suji, recent findings show that the desire to learn the Korean language now extends beyond simple interest in Korea's movies and music. Is this reality something that you yourself have observed in your classroom?
Yes, for sure. Thanks to Hallyu, Korean Wave, there are so many Americans who want to learn Korean language and culture. But for sure, the motivation of learning Korean has been changed toward more about studying in Korea or starting a business in Korea. For example, one of my students, his name is Mike, and he was one of the top students, and he really wanted to study Korean in Korea, and that was his dream. And he applied to the exchange student program at Sogang University, and he's now living his dream. Luckily, I was able to meet him during this conference. And as I was meeting him, I realized his Korean got so much better, and I felt so proud of him. So there are also other examples that they start learning Korean in America, but decide to continue their journey studying in Korea and actually pursuing studying further in Korea. So yes, their motivation got changed a lot more academically or in business motivated.
Right, and on screen we have a proud image of Mike. We just saw Mike on screen smiling very proudly. Jisun, is there a student or an interesting episode that you would like to share while teaching Korean?
Yeah, there are so many students and interesting episodes actually. But if I choose one, there is a student who took my class during my first semester in Hungary. After graduating with excellent grades, these students became a Korean language teacher and even taught Korean with me at a Korean company here in Hungary. Although he's already proficient in Korean, he will start a master's degree in Korea next semester to further his expertise as a teacher. We started as teacher and students, but now we share teaching methods and teaching experience as colleagues. It's fulfilling to see former students become a colleague, and I'm really proud of his passion to continuous learning.
Right, that must have been very rewarding, Jisun. Suji, what can you tell us about the accessibility to learning Korean there in the US?
Yes, so when we talk about the accessibility to learning Korean in the US, it all depends on where you live and how old you are, because America is such a huge country. But when we look at the data from Modern Language Association, it shows number of US colleges offering Korean rose 68% since 2002, and number of students studying Korean rose 78% since 2009. So this data shows that because there are many students who want to learn Korean as a foreign language, there are many colleges accommodate the increasing demands for Korean classes. For example, last year, I was invited to demonstrate kimchi cooking class at USC in California for those who are taking Eastern Asian studies as their major. The students were very eager to learn Korean and culture. I was able to witness how much Korean language and culture is popular among college students. So for the college students, it is obvious it is very accessible, but it's hard to tell in other age group or in other regions.
Right, I see. And Jisun, what more do you suppose can be done to better support students hoping to learn Korean in Hungary?
While the number of Korean companies and the Korean community in Hungary is growing, there are still many challenges when it comes to Korean language education. For example, it's difficult for students even to buy Korean textbooks locally, so they often have to purchase them online from other countries. In Budapest, as the capital, students have more opportunities to learn Korean and experience Korean culture, including food. But it's unfortunate that students in other cities have fewer chances to attend Korean language classes or engage with Korean cultures. It would be great if they could have more chances to access Korean culture or Korean stuff.
Right, hopefully they will in the future, hopefully then. Suji, this is an impromptu question, but speaking as a Korean language teacher, would you say that the Korean language itself is a tough language to learn?
Can I be honest? Yes.
What's the toughest aspect of learning Korean, do you think?
The pronunciation part and grammar altogether. And there's a lot of proverbs, idioms, cultures, histories. So it is tough, but when you have passion, nothing is impossible.
Good to know. Do you suppose, Suji, that trying to learn Korean by learning the lyrics of a popular K-pop song would help?
Of course. Of course. Yes, yes, yes.
Is this something that you've tried in your classroom as well?
Yes, I play one song after we finish one unit as a reward, and I try to encourage students. You don't have to understand word by word or everything in the song. Just one or two wording or one or two something catchy. That will be enough. Just enjoy. So little by little to get to know. Yeah, that's the best way.
Right, I see. All right, Suji, what are some of your future plans as a Korean language teacher in the US?
So I have two long-term plans and two short-term plans. And one of my long-term plan is to be an irreplaceable teacher in the future. If my students, if they have to choose either AI or me, I want them to choose me. You know, they're always threatening from AI technology. But I really want to be an irreplaceable teacher for my students. And second, the long-term goal is if there are any group of people less fortunate and can't afford to learn Korean because of their limited accessibility, I would like to help those people. And there are two short-term plans that I have. At Korean American Center, we are planning and developing a new culture course, which includes temple cuisine with vegan recipe, and K-beauty, Minhwa painting class, Korean tea ceremony. I'll be teaching temple cuisine for vegans and Minhwa painting class. I really want to see more new faces in our cultural class next year. Last but not least, I want to meet all my students in person to share our passion for learning Korean culture and language.
Right. Suji, your charming personality already makes you an irreplaceable teacher. Meanwhile, Jisun, what are some of your future plans?
I don't have a long-term plans like Suzy, but this first semester will be my last in Hungary. While there were challenges working at the King Sejong Institute in Budapest, I've also made countless joyful memories with wonderful colleagues and students who have a deep love for Korea. So once I return to Korea, I plan to further develop my teaching method and language skills and apply again to be dispatched as a Sejong Institute teacher. I would like to use the experiences I've gained so far along with the insights I've learned from other teachers at this conference.
Jisun, is there a particular country you'd like to go to teach Korean in the future?
To be
Haven't thought about
honest,
it? Okay.
yeah,
Well,
I'd
you
like
still
to go
have-
to.
right.
Yeah, my first country was Germany when I applied to be a King Sejong Institute teacher before. But after staying in Hungary, I really enjoyed my life in Budapest. So I would like to apply here again.
Right. Well, best of luck with that, Jisun. Thank you so much for your time and your thoughts today. And Suji in the US, thank you very much for your insights.
Thank you so much for having us.
Right. Well, that brings us to the end of this week's editions of Issues and Insiders. Have a great weekend and see you same time next Monday.